evening, Ken, and welcome to the movie show.
It's a pleasure to be here, Tulip.
Now, tell me about your latest project, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
The film is set in the 1910s with the opening scene, a montage of a European Grand Prix race. One car is winning all the races, but it swerves and crashes and ends up in an old garage. Two kids, Jeremy and Jemima Potts, children to the eccentric inventor Caractacus Potts, find the car and grow fond of it. Once their father has accumulated enough money, he buys the car. The family of three take a trip down to the beach with Caractacus' love interest, truly scrumptious. While at the beach, Caractacus tells the story. While Potts tells his story, they find themselves at high tide. Chitty sprouts wings and takes them to the land of Bulgaria, a land without children. The Baron Bombburst wants Chitty all to himself and will do everything he can to get the car.
A line repeated constantly throughout the movie is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, hence the name of the movie. This was used because the car made that sound.
No wonder everyone is talking about this film. Now, I have a few questions from the viewers to ask you.
Certainly.
What was your favourite scene to film and why?
My favourite scene would have to be when Jeremy and Jemima are left alone and the child catcher, played by Robert Helpman, comes and lures them into his trap. I love making this scene because we had the amazing music and dancing. As Robert Helpman was formerly an Australian ballet dancer, we got to incorporate some of his choreography into the scene.
And what camera angles and special effects did you need to utilise to make this scene?
When the child catcher first enters the scene, all the buildings surrounding him are dark and plain, while his clothing is a very vibrant and joyful colour. This made him the focal point of the scene. As he pulls up, the camera is at a low angle, but immediately changes to a close-up of his face.
When Jeremy and Jemima run outside, it zooms up on a civilian's face quite quickly to show urgency.
As the child catcher is driving away, the music gets quieter. One of the most difficult parts was coordinating the actors and actresses with all the special effects falling off the cart. So once the children are inside the cart, the music adds more brass to it. When the cart zooms past Truly Scrumptious, we get a close-up on her anxious features. The final aspect of this scene was the children disappearing into the distance with the castle in the background to show where they're going.
Another question from the viewers is what genre is your film? We know that it's fantasy, but what are the sub-genres?
Well, primarily the film is fantasy, as you noticed, but it does fit into many sub-genres, including comedy, science fiction, musical, and action.
The actresses and actors in your film were absolutely superb. Who stars in the movie?
The main actors of my film were Dick Van Dyke, Sally Ann Howes, and Robert Helpman. After tedious auditions, we narrowed it down to these three superb actors. They have a lot of experience in musical theatre and were perfect for their roles.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for.
It was an honour to be here today, Tulip.
In cinemas December 18th, 1968.